Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Band Trading Cards. Today we have a guest. His name is James Moore, the lead R&D, the PR and organizer of Taboo Contracts, and he'll be here to explain to us, give a demo on how to play Taboo Contracts on TTS. Hi, James. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. Please help us understand the Taboo Contracts. Today maybe we can just we do the game components, the cards, the playmat, and before we do the gameplay.
Of course.
Yeah,
Is there any specific thing you want to know about first?
yeah. I need to know this game playmat.
This is one of the artistic playmats that Megan did. She's going to do more, I think. There's also a more simplified playmat that's less artistic and more tutorial kind of
Mm-hmm.
looking. But I figured, I might as well use one of the art playmats for this. So,
Yeah. So what are these zones right here?
so these zones back here. Okay, so think of the board as two playmats pushed together. So each player has their own center zones, their own middle zones, which we refer to as neutral zones, and then their own start zones. So these back here for you, for example,
Mm-hmm.
these are your start zones, and this is where your starting units go. So, like your character, your angel, or demon, they'll all go in the back here at the start of the game instead of into a deck. So, they're kind of like your commanders. And then the neutral zones, your opponent can't put cards beyond your center zones.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can move into your center zones, they can play cards into your center zones, but they can't go beyond that. They have to reach beyond that. So,
Okay.
and that's basically the combat zone. That's where you'll be doing most of your combat is in center zones.
Mm-hmm. And how about graveyards or
We just kind of put them in piles.
okay, so once a unit is dead, you're gonna put anywhere like somewhere here.
Wherever you can, like you want your discard pile near your deck, and then you'll want your between pile somewhere else that's different from your discard pile.
Mm-hmm. So there's
Uh,
there's one deck called between.
yeah, it's
Mm.
kind of like a discard pile, but it's a harder to access pile, and there's certain gameplay infrastructure built around that pile that's unique to it.
Mm-hmm. So explain to us some of the zones. Are these character zones over here?
Yeah, so the character always starts the game in the very middle of your start zones.
And how about the
So,
ones with this demon and angel?
well, these are supporters. So you're right here are two angels. So angels and demons, you'll always start with two of them, and you can mix and match. It doesn't have to be two angels or two demons. You can use one angel and one demon if you feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll always go next to your character at the very beginning of the game. And whoever goes first will start with their left side face down.
Okay.
So it's not active on the very first turn of the game. And then at the end of the turn, as players are drawing their cards, that angel or demon will flip face up and become active.
Okay. So this was like a chess type game, a grid game, right?
Yes,
So
it is.
you
It
move
is a grid game.
cards. Mm-hmm. And then can you rotate it like this, going
No,
there?
there's
No.
there's no rotation. So
Mm-hmm.
it's everything can move up, down, left, and right. It can't move diagonally, usually. So you can move up if you want, you can move left or right if you feel like it, you can move down. It's four-way movement and four-way reach. So it's up, down, left, or right. And you
Yeah.
can do that in any order. So if you have, for some reason, 3 movement on a unit, so you can move 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, you can do it directionally in any order.
Yeah. And
Um,
they're all facing front to
yes,
the opponent.
your
Okay.
your cards will always face your opponent.
And can you put two cards in one cell or one?
No.
Mm-hmm.
If a unit is occupying a zone or a fortification card, which we'll go over later, it's basically an obstacle. So you have to go around it. You can't go through it. You can't go into the same zone. So you'll have to go around that. It's the same thing if you're reaching cards. You'll have to reach around it instead of through it.
Oh, okay. So you have the center zone, character zone, you have the graveyard, you have the in between, sorry, between. And what else do you have? Like, are there any void
No,
zones?
that's
No?
that's it. There's
So
removed
that's it.
from game,
Mm-hmm.
but if a card is removed from the game, that's it. There's no way to get it back.
So, okay, it's like, okay, banished or something.
It's pretty much permanently gone.
Okay, out of the game. All right. All right. So, all right. So please give us a brief summary of each of the cards, like types of cards. Like,
Okay, so you have your character, which you always have to have a character.
mm-hmm.
And then you have your other 2 starter units, which are angels and demons. So you're going to pick 2 of those. They
How
go
do I
here.
know? How do I know if it's a character or a demon or something?
Okay,
Is
so
mm-hmm.
underneath of the card name on the left side, you'll see character.
um on the left side, on
Yep,
top.
underneath of the name on top of the card.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, okay. There you go. It's like Rory. This one is Rory and then character. Yeah.
Yes.
And then what is PR0136/50
That is
for
a
Rory?
card ID.
Card ID. All right. And
Yeah,
then there's
that's for like organizing cards or keeping
yeah.
track of sets.
And then the symbol on the top right.
On the top
Like a
right.
sword
Oh, that's the set symbol.
set symbol. All right.
Yes.
Then there's a text box here explaining what is its ability. Then what is so HP, AT, LK, RS, what are those?
HP is an acronym for health. AT is an acronym for attack. LK is an acronym for luck, and RS is an acronym for resist.
Sorry, what is LK? Um,
Luck
Lock. Okay, it's like putting
for dice.
dice.
Yes, it affects your die rolls.
Then RS,
That's for resist.
resistance. Okay. All right. So that's for the character. Then we go to this angel. What's this? Oh yeah, angel Arya. So same thing.
It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you see a card with the blue gem on the top left corner for these
All right.
standard templates, that's the cost of a card. If a card doesn't have that gem in the top left corner, it's because it doesn't have a cost.
Because it's a character, correct?
No, this is a supporter.
Oh, what I mean, if you don't have a blue on that card, that will be in here. So it's a
Yes.
character. Yeah.
Also, items and actions don't have costs. They're basically free to play.
Ah, okay. So yeah, okay, it's all right. And what are other things like gems or something?
The gems are, well, the green gem is the HP, so the health. The red gem is the AT or the attack. And the purple gem is the LK or the luck. And the yellow gem is the RS or resist. So,
Okay. And then we're gonna go to other cards. Maybe you have some artifacts, equipments.
let me search the deck and pull out
Okay.
different card types.
Yeah.
I'll first put that there. we'll pull out an item, we'll pull out an action, a
Action.
fortification, an accessory,
Mm-hmm.
and a blessed accessory, a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the card types. Now, most of the card types have very relating features, so they're kind of like the same type. They're just a different category. So, for example, if we look at a basic accessory and a blessed accessory, they're both an accessory and they're treated mechanically as an accessory, but a basic accessory can be equipped to any type of unit. A blessed accessory can only be equipped to angels.
Okay. So basic accessory, it's like generic, right?
Yes, if it says basic, it's generic. You can equip it to whatever you want.
Okay. And then any character can hold basic accessories, correct?
Yes, any character
Mm-hmm.
can be equipped with a basic accessory. Any angel or demon can, a supporter can,
Mm-hmm.
where a blessed accessory can only be equipped to angels. It's the same thing if it was a blessed weapon.
Okay.
Um, in the pre-release, there aren't any blessed weapons, but there will be after pre-release. So
All right. So that's the
um,
one. And then next is this card.
this is a fortification. Now these go into play and occupy a zone like a unit does, but it's not really a unit. It's kind of like it supplies an area of effect.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes the fortification different from the equipment is when you equip a card, like if we take Soul here and equipped him with this Petra's gloves,
Mm-hmm.
he would gain the stats of Petra's gloves, which is one resist. So Soul would gain one resist from the gloves. With fortifications, Soul, let's say he was in this zone right here, and you had this fortification right here. A fortification will give its stats to anything in reach of it. So as long as Soul is within reach of this fortification, he will gain one luck.
Mm-hmm.
And the more fortifications there are in a fortification pile, the further the fortification pile reaches. So if we were to add like two more fortifications on top of this fortification,
Yeah.
then it can reach like all the way over here.
Okay. I
So
I thought you can't put card on top of another card.
fortifications work differently.
Uh-huh.
Fortifications, once you put down a fortification into a zone, all of your other fortifications have to go into that zone.
And
You can't
mm-hmm.
spread them around.
And a it will the character, or sorry, will the supporter or any character can go on top of that card?
No,
No?
no, only fortifications. It's a structure.
Uh-huh. Then the effect will be around that card, right? Will be that
Yes. So,
all
for
everything.
example,
Mm-hmm.
if I take another fortification, so I'll go into the deck real quick and put this um, second copy on top of it.
Hmm.
So I now have two fortifications in this fortification pile, and I could have up to three in the same pile. You can't have more than three in play.
Okay.
So the more fortifications there are in that pile, the further it reaches away. So since there's three, it has three reach. So if I have Soul all the way back here, these fortifications, 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it can reach Soul back here, and he would gain all the stats of these fortifications. So he would gain one resist from the Cathedral and the 2 luck from the 2 copies of Nightfall.
Ah, okay. And will it affect the opponent's unit?
No, only your units for your fortifications.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Um, this one, yeah, same. Okay, the same description. Okay, for this one, this is
Okay, I think
antique
we
map.
should talk about that
Oh,
one after actions because they're kind of the same thing, but this one has an added benefit.
all right.
So, actions and items are cards that your units will play from your hand. So, when you play cards in this game, think of it as the unit playing the card. So I'm using Soul to play an action.
Okay.
And when it plays an action, you're going to immediately apply the effect that doesn't have like a tag on it. So you see the red T on the day change action.
Yes.
So there's a T, a P, and an A, which is trigger, ability, and passive. And anything that doesn't have one of those tags is considered an immediate effect. And what that means is it uses that effect as soon as that card is put into play.
So
So if Soul plays, go
T
ahead.
means what? T.
T means trigger.
Trigger. Okay.
Yeah, a
P.
trigger, a
Oh,
P is
okay.
a passive.
Okay. A trigger is what?
A trigger is something that will happen when a certain thing takes place. So, for example, there will be a condition in every trigger. It'll tell you how it triggers.
Mm-hmm.
For example, day change says if this card is sent to the between, that's it.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to trigger.
Okay. And then P
P is
means.
passive, and passive effects are always active while a card is in play. But if it states another location like the discard pile or the hand, then
Mm-hmm.
you'll apply the passive there instead. But always assume it means while it's in play, unless it says otherwise.
It's like continuous.
Yes.
All right. And then the other one is S, right? Oh, A. Sorry. A.
All right. A stands for ability. Now, these are effects that a card can use at any time during your own turn that you could play a card or move a card or attack with a card.
Mm.
So it's you basically decide you want to use it.
Yeah.
But if a card uses its ability, it can only do it once that turn. So you'll have to wait a turn to use that ability again.
All right. So an action is it is like a permanent thing, or
No,
it's just on just
no.
one turn.
You when you play an action, any effect that doesn't have a tag on it, like ability, trigger, or passive. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, this has an immediate effect up top that says each player must discard 2 cards, then each player draws 2 cards. So, that's an immediate effect because it doesn't have a tag.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
when Soul plays this, for example, the first thing you're going to do is try to resolve the effect of day change, and then each player will discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards. Then day change will resolve, and you'll send it to your discard pile.
Mm-hmm. All right. And
And then
then.
items are the same exact way. If Soul wants to play an item, say Antique Map, this has an immediate effect on it that says put into play from your deck 1 fortification with a cost of 1 or less in reach. So if he plays this, he's going to put a fortification in reach of himself from your deck. And let's say it's Nightfall from um, your deck,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to put it in reach of Soul. And if he's not equipped with a weapon, his base reach is 1. All cards have a base reach of 1. So he'd put it in front of him or next to him or behind him.
Ah, okay. But
And then after an item resolves, this is what makes it different from an action. You will draw 1 card every time whenever you play an item.
one card, one
Yep.
item per turn.
Yeah, you can only play 1 item per turn as a player
Mm-hmm.
manually. Now, if a card effect says you can play an item, that cheats around that. But if you're trying to manually play an item from your hand, for example, with Soul, that's it. You can't manually play another item that turn. But after every item resolves, you draw a card, so it always replaces itself. And that's why you can only play 1 per turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a much more powerful action because it's free.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not just
correct.
free to play, but it replaces itself.
Yeah. Okay. Then how about this card?
This is a basic weapon. Let me go into the other deck over here so I can pull out a cursed weapon.
Basic weapon.
Yep. So remember how blessed accessories can only be equipped to angels?
Yes.
Cursed equipment can only be equipped to demons.
Uh-huh.
So a weapon and a basic weapon and a cursed weapon, they're still both weapons, but this is universal. You can equip it to anything, and this can only be equipped
Yeah.
to demons.
Hmm.
So it's the same thing as accessories. For example, if we bring those over here, when you equip a weapon to a unit in play, it's going to gain the stats that are on that weapon. Now, what makes the accessories and weapons different from one another is while a unit is equipped with any number of weapons, it's going to gain 1 reach. And while it's equipped with any number of accessories, it's going to gain 1 movement.
Gain
So
one
this
reach.
soul, yeah. So if Soul is equipped with this basic weapon, and let's say he wants to attack this fortification, he can reach it. But if he wasn't equipped with this weapon, he can't reach it. So right now, while he's naked, he's only got his base reach of 1. With the weapon equipped, he now has 2 reach.
Okay. So you said reach. So reach means it can move. It can not move, but it can reach
It
on.
can target
So
things.
one reach is one cell,
Yes,
correct?
it's one zone over, up, down, left, or right.
Yeah. If you put, like, for example, you have this Sol. Sol's reach is what?
1.
One.
Every unit has a base reach and base movement of 1. It's universal.
All right, and then this solar dagger will
Yeah.
add one reach, right? So,
All weapons,
mm-hmm,
if a unit is equipped with any number of weapons, they will gain 1 reach.
one reach. So, Sol for at the bear without weapons will reach one, or on top or left and down, right? But if you
Yep.
put a weapon, it can go. It can attack up to
Yes.
two cells.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, and you again, it's up, down, left, right. So let's say he wants to attack this fortification while
Yeah.
he's equipped with this dagger.
Mm-hmm.
He can attack 1, 2.
Ah, yeah.
So right,
Okay.
yeah.
And attacking is moving it or it just
No,
stays there?
no, it stays there.
Okay.
When you reach something in this game, you're
Yeah.
just targeting it
All
from
right.
different zones away. When you
Mm-hmm.
move in this game, that's what movement is for.
Can you?
Reach and
Mm-hmm.
movement are hidden stats. They're not written on the card because every card has the same reach and movement.
Uh-huh. Can you move and then reach, or is
Yeah,
just
no, reaching you can manually move a card once per turn.
and then you
So
can
like
also reach at the same time at
yeah,
that
you
same
can
turn.
reach any number. You can you reaching is just for resolving effects or declaring attacks. It's always active.
All right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So like I can reach something, for example, let's say I have Elia here
Mm-hmm.
equipped with her flute, so she has a weapon. She's gaining 1 reach. Now I can reach your soul to attack it, and
Mm-hmm.
after I attack it, she also has an ability. That ability can deal 1 damage to a supporter in reach. So after I attacked, even though I reached for an attack, I can still reach it for the ability. So reach is always active. It's just something has to be using that reach. That's about all. So
You have those weapons, and what are the other supporters aside from Dragon? We have here Dragon. We
um,
have
let's go into this deck. You have like Rory here, which is the supporter version of the character.
Rory. Okay. Rory.
We have Eric.
Eric.
Every character that exists in the game right now has a supporter version. So, like, my Eric character over here has an Eric supporter. Your Rory character over here has a Rory supporter.
Rory. Supporter. Okay.
Yeah. So you can use them in any deck you want. You don't have to be playing Rory to play the supporter Rory. I can play this in my Eric deck if I want to. So there's no like restriction in regard to that.
Okay, so we have a car. This one is a character, a supporter, and this one's angels are companions, right? So
Yeah, they're
what are
basically your companions to your character.
so what are the other companions? Are there only angels and
Angels and
Demons?
demons.
Okay, so two. Can you show me another a demon character? So sorry,
Yes.
a companion. So okay, this one is Ilya. Yeah, demon. Oh, okay. And
We also
also
have
Zeo.
Theo. Oh,
Zeo.
sorry. Yep.
So for now, are there just four? Do
Um,
you
for pre-release, there's 3 characters, 2 angels, and 2 demons.
three characters? So where is the other character aside from Rory?
There's 2 decks right here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull out the other character. These are the full arts. So we also have Petra right here.
Petra. All right.
There's
Oh
just
no,
3 characters.
three. Where is
Three
the other?
characters.
Where's the other one? Eric.
Eric, which is right here.
Oh, there. All right. So the Eric character. Okay, got it. Let's talk about the movements. Like how do we start the game?
Um, okay, so let me return everything to the deck. Players are going to have to build 60 card decks. There is a 40 card format, but that's a whole different format. That's not the constructed competitive format.
Mm-hmm.
But for a basic game of Taboo Contract, you're going to build a 60 card deck, and you can have up to 4 copies of any card name in your deck. So if you want to run 4 copies of Arya's Quill, you can do that. And you'll need a character with 2 angels or demons. You can, again, mix and match them if you want. If you want to play 1 angel and 1 demon, you can do that. Or you can play 2 angels or 2 demons.
Mm-hmm.
So after you make your 60 card deck, you're going to take your starters.
All right. So is there any phase name like it's start phase, attack
It's
phase?
no,
No?
no. There's
Okay.
there's no phases. It's all fluid. So you do what you want when you want to do it, as
Mm-hmm.
long as you can.
Okay.
So um, at the beginning of the game, players will put their starters face down because for game 1 you don't want to reveal your starters and give your opponent all of the information.
Yep.
And players will, I'll add a die. Players will roll a die to determine who goes first. So if whoever rolls lower or higher, however you
Mm-hmm.
guys decide it. And the person who wins the die roll will determine who goes first and who goes second. So let's say you went first. Uh, Everybody would then flip their cards, and you would keep this side face down for turn 1, your left side.
Mm-hmm. Is that an
So
option?
no, you have to. Turn
Okay.
1 player starts the game with 2 cards. Turn 2 player starts the game with 3 cards. This is to balance the fact that turn 1 player has advantage because they're going first.
All right.
So you have like positional advantage. You'll control the board before I will. So I get an extra card that can play cards
Mm-hmm.
because every card can move once per turn, attack once per turn, and play a card from your hand manually once per turn. In fact, they can only play a card from your hand once per turn in general, even if you use a card effect that says to play a card using a card in play.
Mm-hmm.
So once you play a card from your hand with Arya, for example, she can't play another card that turn.
All right.
So you're limited to the number of cards you can play per turn by the number of units you have in play that can play them. So think of your units as your mana source. The
Okay.
more units you have, the more you can play.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So another thing about the zones is, again, these are referred to as start zones because that's where your starter units go.
Yeah.
And um, if you go first, you can't, like, any damage that would be dealt to your opponent's cards that turn, or any status counters that would be put onto your opponent's cards that turn, they're reduced to 0. So you can't actually hurt your opponent on the first turn.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mentioned earlier, these start zones or these center zones right here, you can go into your opponent's center zones, but you can't move beyond them.
Yeah.
So your Rory can't cross this spot, and you can't like play a supporter from your hand and put it here.
Okay.
Now, going up and down is considered a column, so everything in that's going up and down here, they're in the same column.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do it left and right, they're in the same row. So left and right is row, up and down is column. Do you want to do a simulated game, or?
Okay. Just to like give us a little bit of information about the movement. Like, for example, this one moves, and what will be
Right,
the
so
next? Yeah.
just like with Reach,
Mm-hmm.
every unit has a base movement of 1. So Eric, he's naked right now. He can move left 1, or he can move up 1, or he can even move down or to the right. And once he manually moves that turn, he can't move again for the rest of the turn, except with a card effect.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So if you start the game, what if I'm the first one, so I will just move one right here, if ever is possible, right? So this one
Yeah,
here.
yeah, you can move him here.
So probably the technique is that you have to put another supporters first on front because it might be I have to take care of my character, right? Um,
You could do that. A very common tactic is to move an angel or demon up and then pocket
ah,
your character.
okay.
Now, Arya is a little bit different because Arya gets to cheat. Arya is allowed to move diagonally. Her passive says so.
Ah, nice.
So she can actually just do this,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually a lot better than doing this.
Yep. Correct.
Because now you get to control both sides of the board with your character because you're right in the center. So it's very common to see that. If you have a supporter you can protect your character with, then you could like move your character up, your angel up, and then play a supporter in your center zone, like right here. And now you're more protected.
Okay. I have a question about the supporter. Can you put a supporter in this one? No.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. But the opponent supporter can't go beyond that. So supporters will be here. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So let's say I control this soul,
yes.
for example. I can go all the way up here, but once I'm here, I can't cross into
Yep.
here. So this
All right.
is like these zones are exclusive to you. So
Mm-hmm.
your neutral zones and your start zones, they're all yours. I can't actually go into
Yep.
them or interact with them.
All right.
I can reach through them with card effects or by attacking. So like if I have a weapon equipped to soul and want to attack this Rory, I can.
All right. And
But I
then,
just can't move into it.
mm-hmm. And how do you win this game?
You just have to deal lethal damage to a character.
To this character.
Yep.
Okay.
They
So,
act as your life points. So once the health is reduced to 0, that's treated as lethal damage. If a character receives lethal damage, you lose the game.
all right. Okay. So I guess you explained everything with the components, and we'll do another video for the gameplay.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay, so guys, that's everything for the components, and I will be doing a video for the gameplay itself. Okay, thank you so much guys for watching and see you in the next video.